Hi there, it's Larry. 100 more days with our hair on fire. Well, you know what? No more hair on fire. Let's get to work. Let's talk today about what a writ of habeas corpus is. You need to know not just because it's in the news, but because it could affect your life. Habeas corpus is basically the main principle that says that we can't detain people indefinitely without charging them with a crime. So when you file a petition for a writ of habeas corpus in court, if you are being detained and you haven't been charged, you're basically saying put up or shut up. Either give me the charges and we'll go forward with this, or you have to release me. It's a foundational principle that's so crucial in terms of due process. We talked about some of these other things in Drag Civics Minute. The due process is defined in about half of the text of the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. And it includes things like the presumption of innocence until proven guilty, that you are entitled to know the charges, that you're entitled to a fair and speedy trial by a jury of your peers, that you are entitled to bring witnesses, to compel witnesses to testify, who will testify to defend you. You also don't have to testify against yourself. And even if you're convicted, you are guaranteed under the Constitution that you will not be subjected to cruel and unusual punishment. The purpose of all of this is to make sure that a government can't just lock people away or just spirit them away to El Salvador. Because if you send somebody away to El Salvador and you don't give them due process, you don't know if you sent the right person. You don't know if you sent the right person for the right reason or the wrong reason. The founding fathers would have been absolutely revolted by what's happened with Kilmar Abrego Garcia. His guilt or innocence actually matters less right now than that we go through the normal process to determine whether he would be guilty or innocent. Now, of course, this case is made far worse by the fact the government has admitted that he has no criminal record in Venezuela. He has no criminal record in the United States. And the reality is that he was sent in error. They've said as much, and now they're saying they won't do anything to get him back. I don't know what's a greater affront to the rule of law than the situation with Kilmar Abrego Garcia. We recently had a Tufts University graduate student who's just been freed by filing a petition for a writ of habeas corpus. She said, put up or shut up. Tell me the charges or release me. And they released her because a judge ordered it. Now, Stephen Miller's already talking about trying to suspend habeas corpus. Can that be done? If you look at Article 1, Section 9, Clause 2 of the Constitution, you will see that habeas corpus can be suspended in two situations. One is rebellion. The other is in the case of invasion, where it's needed for safety and security. The whole Trumpist argument is that we are going through an invasion of migrants. And that's why they're using terms like invasion, because they know that if they can convince other people this is an invasion, that they can access wartime powers that have historically been used for very bad reasons to curtail our civil rights. In fact, do you know when habeas corpus was last suspended? It was right after Pearl Harbor, so they could round up Japanese Americans without filing any charges. It's how they justified all those awful camps, Manzanar and the rest. Due process is one of the things Americans should be most proud of. It doesn't mean leniency. It doesn't mean freeing people who are convicted of serious crimes. What it does mean is that we will make sure that we don't indefinitely detain people. We'll make every effort not to get the wrong people, and that we will release them and free them if they are the wrong people. And even if they are the right people and they are convicted of a crime, that they are not subjected to cruel and unusual punishment. That is the central beauty of the American justice system. It is critically important that we uphold that, and we oppose the Trumpist regime in every way, shape, and legal form to do so. Thank you.